Now, yoga is still being associated with postures and breathing. But when you experience your body as a quantum mechanical body, which it is, that's why our heart can beat 2.5 billion times non-stop every moment. Every organ and every tissue is performing non-stop every moment. The kidneys, the liver, the digestive system, the bladder, the ovaries, the prostate glands, they orchestrate simultaneously. Because there is some memory that keeps orchestrating. And that's 4 million years of evolutionary memory. That's how blessed we are. That's how infinitely resourceful this memory is. Every cell of your body is like a computer. So during the postures, you become aware of it. When you're aware of it, that power will be awakened. It'll get better, it'll get stronger. So by bringing your attention into the body, and as you manipulate different postures, during the postures, the breathing is continued. With the breathing, the cellular structures are being recharged every moment. Now, yoga is often identified with the posture of the breathing, but it's like a tree. It has roots, it has trunk, it has bark, branches, leaves, and then the fruits and the flowers. That's what the 8 steps of yoga are. Your niyama and niyama, the personal principle of refinement, are the roots, niyama are the trunk, pratyahara is the bark to protect the tree. And the branches are like the posture, the asanas, the leaves that oxygenate the blood throughout, send the energy throughout the tree. And then the dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Dharana is the sap, that energy that keeps moving. Dhyana is the meditation. The budding level, when the budding of the flowers begins to take place, then the budding process enriches and ripens into a fruit or into a flower. That's the stage of samadhi. When the experience of Satchidanand, instead of absolute bliss, the experience of transcendental, personal to the transpersonal level, where you are one with the universe, which Jill Bolt Taylor describes when the left brain, when the mental chatter took place, Chittam Vritti Nirodham is the second premise verse of the Yoga Sutras, suspension of the mental chatter. In my years of practice, what you experience when you are 90 and what your body is able to accomplish. And when the functional declines are taking place in your system, they can be compensated in a very conscious way. And we can generate whatever is being diminished, whether it's the serotonin, the melatonin, or the oxytocin. They can be generated through your Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati is the pumping. Kapala is head, to bring light energy into the head. They're not mechanical techniques. They are to tap into, by stimulating your vagus nerve, which is connected with your diaphragm, we can improve the cardiac output. The same nerve goes into the midbrain. The same nerve goes into the midbrain, and clinically it is shown that when we produce our own antidepressants, we can produce our own serotonin, melatonin, dopamine, and all the other happy molecules, euphoric molecules, to create experience of joy from within. Joy is not something that we could find. It's already there. It's only obscured by your mental modifications. So when you start learning to peel off the mental modifications, layer by layer, that what comes underneath, the shining source, luminous, ever-present source, in all its infinity, the experience of that will come in the state of samadhi. So it is a very profound approach. It needs to be understood the way it is, which is now, especially with this whole Einsteinian approach. And the reason our system has reached that threshold, because we have gone through tumultuous, humongous evolution in our journey from our Stone Age. During the Stone Age, our ancestors were sleeping on the trees. They had furs and tails. And this intelligence had the ability to create neocortex from the limbic brain, from the reptilian brain, from the amphibian brain, the limbic cortex that has created this, modified this body to this level of perfection that we have today. And if this intelligence can accomplish this goal, this intelligence, whether it's cancer, whether it's psychosomatic conditions or degenerative disorders, they're all reversible. Because this is a technology. This is not something that you create, something that is always there, disguised into every cell of your body, or to resurface that power, which becomes a conscious process. And then finally, when your mind is centered and your level of concentration has completely developed, that mind has the power, what we call it the willpower, to make better choices. It's the choices that shape our destiny. We have made choices from the time of conception. At the time of conception, there was no body. What was there? A microscopic structure, invisible to the naked eye, that had the ability to produce 100 trillion cells of our own body, and in 9 months create its architecture. We have taken this for granted, but imagine, for 9 months, there was nothing to be done. Everything that was needed was being done. Whether it was the brain, the heart, the lungs, complete engineering and architecture was already there in the DNA. And from the time of our birth, our acoustic system develops when we are 21 days. Whatever we heard, touched, tasted, smelt in those first 3 years, they are the frame of our reference. Those memories are still a part of our adult years. And most of those memories are negative. Because we were told inadvertently, don't do this, don't do that, you're wasting time, do something faster, do something in a hurry. At that age, the interpretation of that information was that I'm no good, I don't know how to make decisions or do things properly. But children who were told that they are beautiful, no matter what they did, they were appreciated. And they got a sense of approval, how beautiful they are, how good they are, how helpful they are. Those children, now our attitude that we experience is coming, they are the past reference. Those memories and the fight and the flight response that we are creating on an everyday basis, little irritability, little anger, a little argument, we think, oh, this is nothing. But every little argument, every little piece of anger is creating a fight and the flight response. So the fight and the flight response become so congealed, so rigid, our system is not reaching the threshold of the relaxation response. That's the human predicament. So how to bring the relaxation response where everything will become spontaneous and like a deep sleep. That never is accessible to the yoga postures. So yoga is a philosophical system with a trinity. There are two other systems, Vedanta and Sankhya. Vedanta is self-knowledge, the essence of who we are. How often we ask ourselves, who am I? What we understand, who am I, is the ego-based awareness, created in time and space. That awareness is not who you are. That awareness is planted by your teachers, your preachers, your peers, and the movies that you saw and the books that you read, and the ceremony that we went through. At the time of conception, there was no body. So we were neither Christians or Hindus or Jewish at that time. It is the ceremonies that were performed that gave us that identity of who we are. At some point, we need to question our dogmas, question our beliefs, and then ask ourselves the same question. Who am I? What's my purpose? Where is my energy being invested into? It's not what we build. It's not what we bought, it's what we build. It's not what we got is what we give. So that attitude from our mind, whether they are, how justified those anger and anxiety and worries are, those memories have to be eradicated and have to be replaced by some kind of feelings of love, compassion, forgiveness, of sharing and caring. And that will happen in meditation. When you shift your attention from your ego-based awareness to some higher level and you become in touch with your own archetypes, your own gods and goddesses, or feel the presence of some divine center that we are grounded into. And then you meditate and visualize a new self-image of who we are.